been stated, I am very passionate about earth care. And I had to decide for myself, what can I do that's a little bit bigger than recycling? What in my life can I take on as a project? And so I decided that I would develop, with some friends, a community, which I have drawn a complete community, which I think exemplifies how human communities people can live together and care for the earth. So falling a little bit short of the few $1 million I needed to complete that, I just decided I'd take a bite-sized chunk of that and build what I could. So I am presenting to you, or sharing with you, some things about the house that I've built that is super green. Let's see if I can figure this. Okay, so here's my house, and one of the things that most people say when they come to it is, oh my gosh, that looks like a regular house. If I knew green looked like that, I'd like to build green too. So I feel like, yes, success, you know? That's exactly what I wanted to do. It's a little bit difficult now to start building green because nobody knows much about it. There's a lot of greenwashing going on out there, but to really find out about it, you have to study, and I've done a lot of exploration to find out about this for the last few years. The number one reason why my house is considered green by most people is because of the value that I receive from the solar panels. I have a 9-kilowatt solar system, which does produce a lot more energy than what my house consumes. But the reason why that is because the house is so super insulated. It's a tight box, basically. The windows are extra specially made with argon gas and so on. Inside the walls, instead of building the house with 2x6s, it was built with 2x4s, it was built with 2x6s. And it is sprayed inside there on the exterior walls with soy-based foam insulation. I wanted the house, which is very small, because it's difficult to be really green if you're going to build a mansion. So, of course, the fewer resources you use, the more green it can be. I wanted it to be quiet, because in a little house, you know, you can be on top of each other. So I put denim insulation. I thought it was really cool to be able to put recycled denim into my walls, which would absorb sound, be really clean. You don't have to use any mask when you're installing that. This is my attic, which has the spray foam in it also. The roof of my house is a metal roof. The foam is sprayed up against that, and is actually 12 inches of foam insulation in that attic. The temperature in the attic remains approximately the same as the downstairs. How many of you can say that? You can go up into your attic and it's the same temperature as it is below. For my mechanical systems, I wanted to choose the very best that I could find, that I could afford. I chose geothermal because of the good payback, because the systems last about 30 years, because it's very quiet, and very low maintenance. This is what it looks like to install geothermal. One way of doing it, I have a ground loop that goes out 250 feet around the yard of my house because I didn't have to worry about size. I have a whole farm. We were able to do this instead of digging a well. Those two lines go out, collect the heat or cool from the ground, depending on the season, and go back in and meet upstairs in the attic at the units. Upstairs, you can see where the hoses come in, bringing in the heated or cooled water to make the system work. This is what I chose, a solar hot water system for the house. It works, this is called a drain back tank next to the large 80-gallon tank. The water from the small tank goes up and collects heat on the roof. But these are simply solar collectors. There's nothing electric about it. It simply collects the heat, warms the water, and goes back down and warms the water below. So the solar panels, this is what everybody seems to be interested in. It's a lot of fun. This is partway through of installing them, and eventually I decided to add a shed onto the side of the house and make the system much bigger than I had originally planned because I was so pleased with the performance. I'd like to point out also that on the house right here, these windows up at the top, there's a ledge underneath them. The house is built in a passive solar way so that it's on an east-west axis. This long side here is on the south side, so that, of course, the solar panels get the best amount of sun as possible. And those underneath the windows there, when the sun is high in the sky in the summertime, the sun shines down on those and reflects light back into the house so that I don't have to use indoor lighting. You see the large overhangs because the front of the house is on the west, and then I have the large overhang, the porch there. I don't get much sun in the heat of the summer, so that helps to provide light so that I don't have to use lights inside. These are the 2 meters I have. They used to do the backwards meters. They don't do that anymore. This one is the regular, let me see that. The one on the left, okay, it's self-explanatory. The meter just like you have, and then the meter that I have just for my solar panels is on the left. So when I get my power bill, it has 2 readings. One, how much I've consumed, and one, how much my solar panels have made. And then we subtract the difference. They pay me, I pay them, although it all comes out because I come out ahead. So far on this bill, you can see that last year my solar panels had generated 1,356 kilowatts in that 1 month. And I only used 499 kilowatts to run my house for that month, so I had generated an extra $276.99. They do pay me 12 cents more than what I have to pay them. I had at that point a balance that they owed me $530, so it comes out pretty well. In most homes, we're talking about indoor air quality now. The inside air quality is 3 times worse than that we found outside. Of course, that depends on where you would be living. But there are many factors that go into that, and these are some of them. Chemicals that we find inside of our houses, particularly urethane formaldehyde that is found in shelves and particle board that might be in cabinetry and so forth, and also in your carpets in your house. So to make your house really green, you want to be concerned about indoor air quality. This is the inside of the great room in my house, and you can see that from the floor up, we don't have, there's no wall-to-wall carpet, all hardwood floors throughout the entire house, except in the bathrooms where I have tile, ceramic tile that was made close by. The walls are painted with paints that have no volatile chemicals in them. The cabinets were made locally and have no pressed wood in them. Here you see that I have a redundant heat system in case the power goes off, because if the power goes off, I don't have any power either. I do not have a battery backup system. The batteries are very inefficient now for my desires, so I decided to have a wood-burning stove, which is Vermont Castings, and it is EPA approved. It burns very efficiently. So then you notice the ceiling fan, which also helps to bring down the heat just like it does in everybody's house. So that one little stove will heat my entire house. If the power's not out, I can put the circulation fan on and it heats every room. The warmth from that house does. This picture shows when you're building a small house, of course, you want to maximize your space and what it looks and feels like. So we have the vaulted ceiling when you walk in the house, which is 20 feet tall. And then the doors and windows are all 8 feet tall, which most people notice right off, oh my gosh, these are tall doors. They're also 36 inches wide so that every room in the house, everything is handicap accessible. If you're not in the market for a new house right now, I wanted to share with everybody here some things that they could do by being green. Try to eat organic foods. This is part of my passion. Stay away from genetically modified. Do what we can. This helps the earth. It helps your health. I have a guard cat that's on duty all the time, so that can help me keep down on any kind of poisons. So keep your cat on duty if you live in a wheat field like I do. Collect water. If you can, this is a pond that I'm just building. It's not yet landscaped, but the water actually comes from one of the gutters underground and is filling this pond slowly but surely. I also have rain barrels. Choose fuel efficiency when possible. Ride your bike or ride your horse. And for drying clothes, I don't know if you can see it, but the clothesline is in the back there. And also grow a garden. That's good for the earth, good for your health. Keep your thermostat set down where it should be for the appropriate season. Recycle. My little trusty green compost bin that goes out and gets buried in my garden regularly, and collect your bottle caps like we're doing and send them to the fire stations. And my dog particularly wants you to know, don't buy dog food that has byproducts in it, animal byproducts. Animals need to be healthy too. Learn about permaculture. This is something I'm very much interested in and teaching classes at my farm about, and it will tell you a great deal about earth care. And the last thing is share what you know. Share your knowledge and go out and be passionate about earth care. It's all for you. And come by and have a glass of lemonade on the porch with me one day. You're invited. Thank you.